the point of worrying? When you're 60 and approaching 60, you realise that all the things, all your movements, all the rest of it might take a little bit more effort than they used to. But that only wakes you up to the fact that you might as well enjoy every minute, because you own. I'm not trying to tell you stuff you already know. I mean, you know. I'm just giving you my opinion, my experience.
Hello there.
Hi guys, welcome back. This is Alpha Omega Occasionally. I'm turning 60 this year. It's been a journey, and I hope there's a lot more to come. I'm going to bring you on a journey today as we talk about turning 60 in Thailand. I was 48 when I came here. I was in my 49th year, but 48. And I was a much younger man. Obviously younger man, but I feeling the way I feel now, and looking back to the way I felt then, I had a lot more energy, a lot more enthusiasm, a lot more get up and go than I have now. That's out of accident rather than design. It's not the way I want to be. It's not the way I want to feel. But every day I get up and get at it as best I can. But turning 60, I'm in my 60th year. This is the end of January. I'll be 60 at the start of November. So I was born in 1964, and this is 2024. So I'm in my 60th year. And basically, it's, as well as I do, if you're in the same kind of situation that I'm in terms of your vintage, there's things you're going to notice when you get up in the morning, when you try to run for a taxi or a bus or something like that. Your appetite, I've noticed over the last couple of weeks, months I'd say, that while I maintain a fairly reasonable appetite, the quantities of food that I eat are quite a bit less. What satisfies me, put it that way, what satisfies me is quite a bit less than what used to satisfy me. I look after myself to a degree because I have to, not because I want to, not because I have to, not because I want to, but because I need to. Yeah, I look after myself. I gave up smoking about 2 years ago. Was it 2 years? Yeah, about 2 years ago. Not because I wanted to, not because I had to, because I needed to. I felt I was smoking for most of my life. I had a 10-year break at one stage between, say, 1997 and 2007. I wasn't smoking at all. But prior to that and after that period, I was smoking as much as I could. I was on about 20 a day, give or take. And of course, when you go out drinking, there's a lot more than that, But I could survive easily enough until about 2 years ago, when I got this cough that kept going until I nearly blacked out. And one day I was driving and I got into this fit of a cough, and a redness came before my eyes, and I was driving like I was on the middle of the road here in Bangkok, and I didn't black out. But if I had it done, God knows what would have happened. So I gave up smoking because I needed to. And I often say to myself, I wish I was, I won't say healthy enough. Well, put it this way, you got to be in the fullness of your health to smoke. You really do. I know people smoke and they're not healthy, but you know what I mean. So I wish I could enjoy a cigarette, as I used to, but I can't. But I'll tell you the truth. Sometimes when I go for a beer and I'm on the beer, if somebody I'm with is smoking, I'll take a smoke. But I can leave it at that. Thankfully, I can leave it at that. Well, I have to leave it at that. I need to leave it at that. And I don't pursue the habit whatsoever. Exercise, well, that's another thing. That's a necessity. It's not something you elect to do. Well, you do elect to do it, but it's not something you do because you want to keep fit, or it's not something you do because you want to keep a good physique. It's when you're 60 or approaching 60, it's something you do because you want to stay alive. Yeah, exercise. That's one thing I was doing on a regular basis while I was on the OMAD diet. Yes, I was on the OMAD diet, but I lost 30 kilos on that, eating one meal a day and walking 5 kilometers a day, and it did me the world of good. But what happened was, it was antisocial, and some fellas say they can keep that up. Well, you see, I could have chosen to keep that up, but it wasn't practical at the time. And what happened was, I broke my metatarsal on my fifth metatarsal on my right foot, and I was incapacitated for about 3 months, and therefore I couldn't do my exercise, and of course the OMAD diet went out the window, and yeah, I piled on the weight, and that's something that I'm very aware of. And ever since then, I felt the best I have ever felt. I felt the best I have ever felt when I was on that OMAD diet. The less you put into you, the better you are. Do you know that? That's a fact. That is a fact. I felt like loads of energy, but my physique looked gaunt. That's the thing. And I couldn't go out and enjoy myself. I couldn't go out and have a meal, let's say. I couldn't go out and have a few beers because it was so regimental. And you feel if you have 1 or 2 beers, it's a slippery slope, and that's what happens, you see. So you have to weigh it up. Do you want to have an enjoyable life, or do you want to have a long life? Because the two things don't necessarily go together. Okay, you don't have to live like a monk to stay healthy, but you know what I mean. I weigh it up. As I said, I'm in my 60th year. I drink, say, 4 or 5 nights a week. When I say I drink, I've got a few cans. I don't sit in a bar. I have a few cans as I go around in the evening doing my thing. For the Big Picture El Panorama, I interview girls, and having a few cans. It's very hot, and that's an excuse, but it's quite pleasant to punctuate your evening with a few cans, you see. And I'm very aware of this. But I never used to drink like that ever before. All through my life, I was a weekend drinker. I'm from Ireland, so you socialise anywhere. You socialise a drink. So you go out on the Raz, as we say, on a Friday night or a Sunday or a Saturday night, but you never do 3 nights on the trot. I don't go on the Raz, so therefore I can do 4 nights on the trot. A few cans, it's whatever. But I know that this is having it's taking a toll on my physical well-being. But you see, you gotta weigh it up. I really enjoy living in this city. I really enjoy getting out and about. I really enjoy living. As Oscar Wilde once said, a countryman of mine, sleeping is the closest thing to dying, so don't do too much of it. Now, I don't know if that's verbatim, but that's more or less what he said. But that's true. If you can get away with staying awake as long as possible and enjoying as much as you can, that's a wonderful thing. I get about 4.5 hours sleep a night, and that's the truth. Now, I do crash out one night a week where I don't do anything, but I finish my work for YouTube at about 2:30 in the morning, and I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning to bring my son to school, and I do my other things during the day as well. Might take a nap for 10 minutes or 20 minutes during the day, but that's about it. But I embrace and soak up every available minute, because you'll be dead forever, and that's it. Once it's over, it's over. I'm not alone in saying this, because if you've reached this age, or even you probably realised this before, you be more aware of your own mortality, obviously, the older you get. And life seems so short, it really does. But you tell that to a 20-year-old, that life is short, because when I was 20, I thought life was infinite, as we all did. But looking back in it, it seems like yesterday. And all the things that I enjoyed and did, and I'm still enjoying life, and I'm still doing things, because in 10 years from now I'll be 70, and I don't think I'll have the same amount of get up and go, and I have the same amount of energy as I do now as before. when I was 50, I had more energy and get up and go than I do now. So being more aware of your own mortality is probably the best thing, because you know what they say, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Well, if you are aware of your vulnerableness and how your life can change in 1 second due to whatever health issue may arise, you have to enjoy every second of your life. And that's what I try and do. But one of the things I have found, speaking from my own experience, as I've got older, I'm more aware of my mortality, but I worry a lot less. I worry a lot less about dying, because I know, well, nobody knows. It's a foolish man that says he knows, but I don't believe in any hereafter. As far as I'm concerned, when it's over, it's over. And that's a very, very reassuring thing almost. Because who wants to live forever? I mean, really, imagine being married to the same person for the rest of your life, forever. Imagine having to work forever, for infinity. Imagine having the trials and tribulations of life for infinity. Imagine being 30, 35, let's say, the prime of your life, forever, for infinity, for time immemorial. Would that be a good thing? Which is more terrifying? The thought of living forever with no end, or the thought of dying? I think they're both as terrifying. Because at least when you die, you don't know about it. So, what's the point of worrying? When you're 60 and approaching 60, you realise that all the things, all your movements, all the rest of it might take a little bit more effort than they used to. But that only wakes you up to the fact that you might as well enjoy every minute. Because you own... I'm not trying to tell you stuff you already know. I mean, you know, I'm just giving you my opinion, my experience. So you see, nothing really matters. What's worrying you today has absolutely zero consequence at the end of the day, because you won't be here. That's the way it is. So it's very difficult. It's easy to say, you know. There's a German guy who wrote a book called Living in the Now. Somebody would tell me who he was. It's almost impossible to live in the now. Not to be worried about what happened before, or not to worry about what's going to happen in the future. But it's the ideal way to live, because there's no point in worrying about the past, and because it's gone. And there's absolutely no point in worrying about the future, because you don't know what's going to happen. You can influence the future, but you see, you might not have a future. So what do? Do you prepare for something that might not happen? Or do you just live in the now? I prefer to live in the now. And I always say, cross that bridge when we come to it. So there you go, lads. That's my take on being 60 or turning 60 in Thailand. One of the benefits of turning 60 here in the last decade that has just passed, I have had a ball so far here. It's been a rejuvenation of all my senses, because I live in such an amazing place. I recommend, if you're in the position to travel in your later years, grab that opportunity with both hands, because it's a wonderful thing to experience life. So there you go. I hope you found this informative. I hope you found it thought-provoking. Whatever you did, however you found it, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section. Click the like button, click the share button, click the subscribe button, click the notifications bell, and I'll see you again for another wonderful video very soon. Thanks for joining me. Hello there.